To explain the situation, the Danish Integration Ministry and the minister, have been totally receiving wrong information. They should try to correct their source of information. The fact is, I'm not saying for sake of the conference, the fact is that I was never a consultant or advisor to General Zia-ul-Haq, the president who made the law of blasphemy in 80s. I had never been a member of his cabinet. I was never a member of the parliament in his days. He invited me, offered me to be federal minister for 3 times. I refused, and I never joined his dictatorial rule. And the way he was formulating the Sharia law, I was totally against it.
So you are against the blasphemy law?
Number 2, finally, when this law was made, President Zia-ul-Haq never consulted me. And I was never a part of shaping this law in the parliament made by General Zia-ul-Haq.
So
this is absolutely clear. So they have wrong information that I was his advisor.
So let us get it on the table.
Yeah.
Are you pro or against the much discussed blasphemy laws in Pakistan?
Now, there are 2 aspects. First of all, after clarifying the situation that I was never a part of shaping in the parliament. Now there are 2 aspects of this law. And every law, one is substantial law and other is procedural law. As far as the substantial law is concerned, whereby just the punishment is mentioned for a particular crime or a particular act, I won't comment in it because this is not the just Sharia law. I would like to correct, this is originally a biblical law.
But the question, excuse me, the question is that the whole world is discussing, in particular, this case with a very young girl who apparently, she's a Christian, apparently she's been accused of burning some pages from the Quran. Now she risks capital punishment. So the question to you is, do you support that kind of law or don't you?
But let me explain the first aspect very briefly, that this law is first of all a biblical law. This was revealed in Bible on Moses. This was the Christian law.
I'm sorry,
but it became the Sharia law. So the
Dr.
Jews,
Qadri, that is not, I know, but we are here to discuss why there is a controversy around your person. And the minister says that she is against the kind of law that you apparently support. I'm trying to get you to answer a simple question. Do you support that kind of law, whether it's biblical, Judaic or Islamic?
Or Christian or Islamic.
Whatever.
Yes. My answer to that is...
Most of the world, by the way, has done away with that. I mean, the Christians don't do that anymore.
Yes. I differ with the procedural and administrative, all procedural law of this matter. I have many reservations. I have difference of opinion. And this law needs a lot of reforms and amendments. And I do not support this law as it is being practiced in Pakistan. I am against all this practice. And any law which can be misused against the minorities, against the Christian girls or people or the weaker sections, I have been opposing these kind of laws and procedures. I will oppose. And if any injustice is done to that Christian girl, I would be the first person to go to Pakistan to fight for her right and to save her life. I oppose any kind of law which is unjust law. She is a minor. She is suffering from Down syndrome, as I have read through the reports. And the evidence are again mixed. The mullah seems to, according to one report, he mixed the papers in that. So there is a doubtful situation. So I hope the Pakistani court is not going to sentence him capital punishment. And if this thing happens against the justice, I would be the first person to support the Christian girl and minorities to save her life and to save the rights of minorities. Because I differ with the ways this law is being practiced in Pakistan. I am very clear on that subject. I don't support it.
So that was very clear. Thank you very much for that. Another question about minorities, because apparently Christians in particular are very worried in Pakistan these days. Do you support capital punishment for insulting the Prophet?
This law the capital punishment for insulting the Prophet. This is common not only for Prophet Muhammad. The same is law for Jesus Christ in Pakistan. And same is for Moses and all prophets and messengers. Same is for Torah and Bible and Quran. This is a common. But the reason behind that...
So it's not legal to insult the Jewish faith or the Christian faith,
and Bible,
people are being punished for that?
Up till now, any Muslim or non-Muslim who was charged with the law of blasphemy for the last 27 years, not a single person has been sentenced to capital punishment up till now.
For insulting?
For insulting the Quran or Lord or God or Holy Prophet or any. Up till now, the practice is for the last 27 years. I'm quoting the legal history of Pakistan. This is a wrong perception. Cases they are registered, but the courts of Pakistan are quite sensible. Judges are sensible. For the last 27 years, you cannot find a single case where any Christian or any Hindu or any Sikh or any Muslim has been sentenced to capital punishment on the law of blasphemy. Absolutely, this is very clear.
But they have been put to prison for many, many years, right?
So now their view is that sometimes when the illiterate people and the extremist people who exploit the sentiments and emotions and they attack, there are terroristic attacks, extremistic attacks, the radicals, to save the life of these kind of people. Sometimes the government, they ask the police to take certain person in protective custody, so that somebody, as you know, the governor of Punjab was shot dead by his own gunman. So this is known as protective custody, to save them from the exploitation or from the sentimental, illiterate, extremist people and their protest. This is just a custody. But as far as the prison is concerned, wrong cases are registered in murder matter, in many other criminal matters. Wrong cases are registered. This is a fault with the legal system of Pakistan and many other third world countries, those who are known to be hybrid regimes or flawed democracies, that there is no rule of law sometimes. The justice procedure is not very quick. Any case, I used to practice law as a lawyer before I became professor. Civil laws take 25 years to come to the final judgment. So this is the delayed justice process that people have to stay in the jail for a long time, not only in blasphemy matters, in many criminal matters.
So what you are saying is that every group in Pakistan is being treated equally.
Equally, yes.
Muslims, Christians, Jews, Hindus,
equally. And I would repeatedly say that anybody can check. I'm giving this statement for the last 27 years. Not a single Hindu, Sikh, Christian or Jew has been sentenced to death on blasphemy case. This is a categorical statement. The perception is different and reality on ground is different.
I just want to touch...
But still I differ with the law.
Yes.
In spite of that fact.
I know. Just want to touch on the reason that you are here, terrorism. Just one question about the fatwa that you have issued. Why has it been necessary to tell Muslims that it's wrong to commit terrorism? I mean, everybody seems to know that. Why has it been necessary for you to issue that fatwa?
I think it is extremely necessary, and even if we keep on repeating this message hundreds and hundreds of times, it would be insufficient, because there are terrorists, radicals and extremists who are continuously in a process of radicalizing the youth, Muslim youth, exploiting their religious sentiments. And those sentiments, sometimes they are frustrated on basis of some global political situations, sometimes the socio-economic situations, sometimes there are many other regions. And so they exploit their region and they radicalize them, they brainwash them. And they have hijacked the Islamic terms like jihad, khilafah, they are against democracy. They say democracy is unbelief, totally silly things. And they brainwash them and they prepare them to commit suicidal attacks, terroristic attacks on civilian populations, and consider that this act will take them to heavens. So it became necessary to quote Quran and the Sunnah of Prophet of Islam and the authorities of Islam to explain the fact that killing a single person, maybe Muslim or a non-Muslim, who is a civilian, belong to civilian population, and who is a non-combatant, even if he belongs to the military of a state which is at war with you. Even he is a military person, but he is not at that time fighting with you and unarmed. Killing that person is equal to killing a whole of the mankind. And that is an act of unbelief. So this act of terrorism will not take the suicide bombers to heaven. Rather, this will take them to hellfire. And this will not provide them 70 virgins. This will provide them the very great hellfire. So I wanted to save the Muslim youth who are in a process of being radicalized, who are in a process of being brainwashed. And they are not terrorists today, but they can be a terrorist for tomorrow. I want to save them, to bring back to normal life. And I want to create an atmosphere of tolerance, mutual understanding, a culture of dialogue, and tolerating the religions. All religions and culture may live together in a peaceful atmosphere, and the human dignity and the values of all religions may be respected, and the freedom of expression should be given to everybody, and difference of religion and culture should be respected. Human rights should be respected. Democracy should be respected. So this was the reason to issue the fatwa, substantiated with Quranic authorities and the Hadithic authorities of Islam, to explain the youth the way where Bin Ladenians are taking you, and the path where the extremists and terrorists are taking you, that is against Islam, against all religions, against humanity, against human rights, against morality. So this was my duty, being a servant of religion and servant of mankind.
And we can hope that that part of your message will come true, inshallah.
And last
thank you.
Thing I would,
very short, because
very short.
Yeah.
These are the photographs of the Christian minorities coming to my headquarters, Minhajul Quran, and we are cutting the Christmas cake. We are not, Christmas cake, you can show.
Yeah, I can show it.
These are all, this is Minhajul Quran. These are Christian leaders belonging to Catholic, belonging to Protestant Church of Pakistan, and I opened the mosque of Minhajul Quran for them, the first mosque open for Christians for their worship. They are worshipping according to Christian religion.
So,
and finally, this is the Pope John Paul, late, receiving my fatwa, and my student attending a 6-month course there.
Right.
So we are always propagating interfaith harmony and relationship with religions, and we are working with minorities. And in Pakistan, I am the chairman of Muslim-Christian Dialogue Forum. And if you ask the Christians, Hindus and Sikhs in Pakistan, minorities, name single person among the Muslim leaders or Muslim religious scholars, single person who has been your protector, who has been fighting for your rights. And if you ask single name, I hope they will mention only one name, and that is Dr. Tahir al-Qadri.
And thank you very much for coming. Thank you.
Thank you very much too.
Ved en